however great a leader you are in many ways, you have to have a heart. And if the heart stops beating, you're gone.
Before you're going to take charge of the Rajya, which means the leadership of whatever may be the size, it first is Swarajya. So which means self-management.
I believe that very many ordinary people can do extraordinary stuff.
If ego is increasing, that's the one thing that we need to see when we are going up the ladder. Ego is a depleter. And I get attached to my role and position and I start operating through that role and position, then my initial intent with which I had started, that starts getting diluted.
How do you see India's journey as we move forward? What is going to drive that?
Indian value systems can actually be of great use not only to India but to the rest of the world. We have leveraged technology to reach out to common man and to see to it that their lives are positively affected.
Nothing is done by an individual, it's done by a team. Now, one is a team within an organization. Let's look at a bigger team right now, and that bigger team is Team Bharat.
Is the business of business only business?
If you take care of your people today, give them that 1 minute, 2 minutes, nothing big, 2 minutes, take care of your mind, send them home at the right time, and most important, after that, don't connect to them. You will have very strong children coming.
Today's Think Right podcast is truly special because we have with us someone who is very special, particularly to me, someone whose life journey I have been able to witness very closely, especially for the last 15 to 18 years. Chandrajit Banerjee is been the Director General of the Confederation of Indian Industry, the premier organization that is driving the entire industrial force that you see from India, for India and for the world as the Director General for the last 18 years, but also who has been with the organization for over 38 years. And I think Chandrajit, through his entire time at CII, has helped shape not only policy in India, but around the world using the power of India, and I think has done it extremely successfully. He's got a number of honorary doctorates from many Indian universities, 2 knighthoods from Spain and Italy, and a person who is really a wonderful human being more than anything else, and who has been empowered to really drive the industrial force in India. So very warm welcome to you, Chandrajit, CB, as I am more comfortable calling you, and thank you for joining us here, on this podcast. And with us, of course, we have our ever-radiant light of positivity, Sister Shivani. Thank you so much for being on this podcast. So CB, I've already described a lot about your journey, and I think it's been a tremendous journey, with one organization shaping the power, the economic power of India, over nearly your entire working life of, 38, 40 years. How has your leadership and, the inspiration behind what you have done at CII, shaped you? How did the journey start? Tell us a little bit about, your life journey.
First of all, Rajan, thank you very much for asking me to be here. And it's my really great fortune to be here with Sister Shivani in the same show. And I've seen her, heard her, listened to her, tried to understand and follow what she says. And there's been, of course, a great learning from you through media channels more than in person. But it's indeed very, very fortunate to be here with you. But Rajan, looking back, I think one is, it's not that I knew what I'm going to do. This happened so very naturally. And somewhere you sort of start belonging to the work as if it's your own, and through this institution, one has always felt, and I feel that this institution has existed because one felt that you work for the country, you work for the better world, but there is an institution through which you can work on. And second, I think it's been a platform where we have been able to see very divergent views coming up. But no one is wrong. I mean, neither A is wrong or B is wrong, but A and B have different views. So to get that together and to understand what could be, how one can navigate through different views, gives you a lot of, if I can say, opportunities for one to juggle around with divergent views and come to some sort of a thought process as to what could be the right way, be it for a company, be it for an organization, or be it for the country's policies, etc. So the canvas is like quite vast. So which part of it is good? There are so many moving parts, and it's always. And I keep saying that there's so many things to do in this institution. So it's been a lovely journey of learning. Every day there's a new learning. Every day there are 100 fires. So probably working in that type of ecosystem gives you that energy.
That actually, it's so important when you are handling so much. The focus to get the internal energy is very important. Okay, where does that energy come from? Maybe we'll turn to Sister Shivani.
Yeah, but if you're there with an intention and side by side you're taking care of yourself, then the energy is only going to go on rising. Some people who don't take care of themselves, and again with that, if ego is increasing, that's the one thing that we need to see when we are going up the ladder. Ego is a depleter. And I get attached to my role and position and I start operating through that role and position, then my initial intent with which I had started, that starts getting diluted. So if that intent is clear, you don't allow that ego to take you over and you understand it's everybody's thing, it's not me who's doing everything. And when you see success happening in a way which you think, how did this happen? How is it? Actually, humility increases. So if you just look at it the right way, your humility will increase, that it's my fortune to be a part of this thing rather than I am doing this thing. So if humility starts increasing, you're getting energized, then whatever you're doing is going to be energizing. So work can be an energizer, not a work stress. No, it's work energizing.
No, and you say so right, because I've closely seen CB, he's always at the back, letting others be there.
But someone there has to be something like that,
to others, and I think that's such and these are values that, it's what makes you successful in what one does in life, But even if you talk of CB as India's journey, right? We're talking of the journey that we are going to be seeing as a country. There are so many principles, that we think we need to be able to hold on to as we move forward, So how do you see India's journey as we move forward? What is going to drive that, as we move in this?
No, I think there are a lot that India have been able to achieve in the last many years, and the road ahead of us, again, I see through this, a chaotic democracy, noisy democracy, whatever we call ourselves. But we see that what stands out at the end of the day, there is still respect and a lot of regards for Indian value systems, our traditional Indian value systems, and the way we have been leaders in terms of our beliefs, practices, in the way we run, just not only businesses, I'm saying we run our lives. I think those are the ones which are going to be very critical for a world order, which is, I think, going to be more and more seeing many more Indian way of functioning across the globe. Today, if you see in any part of the world, there are so many of our, so many Indians, so to say, in many parts of the country are well located. They are desired to be present in many countries, in economies. And we have many centers of learnings which have come up in various parts of the world, which are actually being able to communicate the value systems and the leadership values of India. And I think it's a very, very strong factor. And as India becomes stronger and stronger, we aspire to be at the third largest economy very, very soon. And when we become stronger and bigger, I would think with that would also come this understanding as to how Indian value systems can actually be of great use, not only to India, but to the rest of the world. So I think that's going to be the spirit which will see us through to see that we become a developed and a strong economy as we go along.
No, I think it's so important, right? How do you balance spirituality with economic progress? Actually, I think what you're saying, CB, is how do you power economic progress through the true Indianness that, India has shaped the world with, right? How does one unlock some of that?
It's already who we are, right? So we've grown up with that. Those sanskars, those belief systems, those mindsets, those ways of living, we've grown up with that. How does my morning begin? How am I with the elders in my house? It's just very simple things which as a baby we were taught that this is what you have to do. First thing in the morning, this is what you have to do. पहले अपने हाथ जोड़ो, पहले उसको याद करो, फिर उनके जाके पैर छुओ उनको. It's innate. You don't even have to teach anyone this right now. It's innate. But those little baby steps are actually tools of inner resilience. They are tools of inner resilience and they are tools which connect us. Then we've grown up with Seva Bhav. We have grown up with Vasudev Kutumbakam as an innate thought. We've grown up with a lot of thought processes. And a very deep thought process which is there in the Sanskriti of Bharat is Swarajya. So, when we use the word management, that you have to manage everybody, it's first coming with the word man, which means first it is I and then it is people. So before you're going to take charge of the Rajya, which means the leadership of whatever may be the size, it first is Swarajya. So which means self-management before you are going to take care and then there and that's going to be. So that is innate. Now all that we need to do is if we find ourselves losing that thing, just get it back. It's very natural to you and it's very easy to do it. So Swarajya before Rajya. So why did we have this culture that even the prince had to go to a Gurukul and learn Swarajya, had to learn how to live a life of hardship, move out from that palace, live with everybody, live with the praja of his kingdom and be there, do seva, because this was all building inner resilience and this Swarajya was then making him a very good Raja. So nobody was just made a Raja without going through those steps. So when we just get back those steps which we've grown up with, but today sometimes when we're just looking out too much into the world, we are forgetting what we are rich in. So if we hold on to what we are rich in, one, we will get energized and automatically I think that's what even the world is looking for right now. So those are those basic steps we just need to, if we are losing them slightly on the way, we just need to pick them up again.
Yeah, and many of the things that we do to strengthen ourselves, while we say there will be certain things as routine, it's in our subconscious.
Yeah, it's life, already there, innate.
I'm sure, CV, you were talking about 100 fires and all of that. You can only put out the fires because there is something that is giving you the inner strength to be able to deal with, external situations, whatever is happening. Where does that come from? I mean, when you think of your life, how do you see that?
No, I was very intently listening to what Sister Shivani was saying. I always believed that, number one, it's these extraordinary things that we all feel that one has done or whoever has done. I believe that very many ordinary people can do extraordinary stuff. But if we keep believing that it is that we are ordinary people and something makes us do those extraordinary work which we perhaps are able to achieve, I would all think it is interconnected. It's not me who have done it or I who have done it or you who have done it. It's been an ecosystem which has helped you to, and you have to contribute to creating that ecosystem, to create that team around you, in our corporate language, so to say, or you are able to create value-based people around you and people who can appreciate, and then you can work as one team, then everyone's success and everybody could feel that it's, sometimes people start believing in it, that I did it, but it has actually been, if you really, in any corporate success, it's actually been, it's always been a team success. And I would think that there are many leaders, and the guy it can be someone much below a youngster or just an intern who can give a phenomenal idea, and he sort of raises the wave and that goal and the spirit, and it goes. So ideas come from everyone, but one has to just be open. So I believe that works in all good corporates, and exactly what she said can translate so much into the corporate life.
We believe that the holistic nature of connectedness of the universe, I think these are values which are ingrained, and we talk like that. But when you deal with multiple corporates, right, having multiple, of course, personal, or corporate-led goals that need to be achieved, but still taking India forward, right? It's pretty interesting because, see, as a government, when you talk of public sector, you are here to serve the citizens, but when in a private sector, in the world that we are today, which is a competitive world where companies want to succeed, aligning multiple companies towards a larger goal, which is for India, must be quite challenging.
It is, but if it's not that everybody is of the same wavelength. There would be bad apples everywhere, but yes, it doesn't mean that if there is a bad apple, that the entire flock is bad. And now we see large number of corporates. It's not today. It's if you really go back more than a century, there have been corporate sector which is also created cities, which has created places, which has created treatment centers, hospitals, corporate sectors, which have actually created many centers of learning, or even our own, if you really see, gone into even creation of temples around the country. It's much, even more than 100 years back, were developed by done by some corporates. So it's not that the corporates only chase the bottom line, so to say, but chasing the bottom line is also not bad, because you are creating wealth. You are creating wealth for your people. You are creating wealth for the country. You are making the country stronger. So if the wealth is created in a manner which is correct, value based, it is for everyone, so to say, in your country. And you create large number of opportunities. There will be a stream of smaller companies coming up, which will be supplying to the larger companies. We have seen phenomenal examples of that in the country. Sometimes what happens, Rajan, I feel we fail to highlight the good things and capture the good things that we've done. We get caught into this, someone erring or someone sort of, there will be, but we also have to set examples of those guys who are doing things wrong. So our legal system, so to say, or ecosystem can be strong for those who are offending, and very, very encouraging for those who are maybe taking a risk and even failing. And celebrate those failures, so to say, because these failures could be just because of things didn't work out, and you are a businessman, you know that all your businesses cannot succeed. So some businesses might fail even if you try. So we'll have to see how we can encourage more and more people to sort of be taking experiments, taking risks. Some failures should be there.
No, and I think today's energy with innovation to kind of create, the next thing that the human race needs, and today we are talking of so many new things in technology and others, that are coming up. But before we get to that, we talked of a very important point, like a corporate, right, is doing also a lot of good. And sometimes, therefore, they need to make money. So there's always this discussion, is the business of business only business, right? Because when you do business, of course, you're helping employees, you're helping smaller companies, you're helping an ecosystem thrive, and or you can say, no, I'll make my profit and then I will set up a foundation or do philanthropy and kind of. So should these two be kept separate? Should they be integrated? What is the view of that right way of an Indian corporate to be set up?
First and foremost, I feel right now, like we said, nothing is done by an individual, it's done by a team. Now, one is a team within an organization. Let's look at a bigger team right now, and that bigger team is Team Bharat. That's also a team now. So every organization is one member now. Let's say, okay. So now let's shift our intent from just this team has to do well or this organization has to do well. We're talking about what Bharat has to do, because that's what everyone is looking at now. What's the future? If everyone looks at it like we are one team and we have all one intention, and that one intention is where are we taking Bharat? And that would mean all our people's minds also are a part of this. If we look at it like that, the way we will work will change, the way we will do business will change. We will do extremely well, there's no doubt about it. If a team does well, individual member automatically does well. So if Bharat does well, automatically we will do well. But that intent, the higher the intent goes now, the energy starts going higher. The lower our intent goes, we become very selfish. It's like within a team also, if a person thinks only about themselves, the team still might be successful, but that person will fail. But look, within will fail because that person didn't have the strength to think like that. That person was only thinking, Mera isme kya fayda hai. So if we just take that teamwork to a bigger picture, then Bharat can create a miracle in the world, because the time for that has now come to create that bigger miracle. Then we are not just for the success of an organization, we're talking about the success of the country. It's just that mindset which needs to change. Then automatically you will think of other things also. You will not say, after I am successful, then I will do this for Bharat. Bharat is what team I am part of. A team member doesn't say, I will finish this work and then I will help you. But if you're stuck somewhere, I will move away from my work and I'll help you, because your moving forward is a part of my project moving forward. It's just that circle has to get bigger and everything will start changing. We just need to go bigger.
Operate at a higher level than even the company or the individual.
And really look at the future of Bharat, because really that is, if that comes in every Bharatvasi today, we are here to look at a very big miracle happening, because it has to happen, we know that. It's just that everybody has to put Bharat here. Put Bharat here. Bharat is not something just to talk about, no, put it here, the intention that this is where Bharat has to be, and then work towards it, and we create miracles. So just take the intention higher.
CII under your leadership has, taken on the mandate to create India at 75, now India at 100. I think what Sister Shivani is saying is exactly the ability to take many people along around a common vision and see how different aspects of that, can get fulfilled, using corporates as the base to convene maybe other stakeholders, right? That journey, of course, I've also been a part of it through CII. How does that, now we have, say, for an India at 100 or what, as a country, we are saying we'll be a Viksit Bharat by, say, 2047, 100 years from. What are the steps, CB, that one needs to take, right? I mean, one is, of course, we take the intent and that is a big one. But how do we convey that to corporates? What is CI doing, and how can we really make that change happen at a pace which is, which will accelerate our progress to being a developed country?
We are such a vast country, such a complex country in the sense like from the terrains are different. Somewhere we see phenomenal opportunities for tourism, somewhere we see phenomenal opportunities of even healthcare in our own traditional way, so to say. And somewhere we see huge scope for large-scale manufacturing, somewhere we see phenomenal scope for best of agriculture. So it's a very, very complex country, and of course we cannot forget a vast majority of our section of our people living in rural India, so for instance. And unless we get the corporate sector to understand the value of those people who are in the villages of our country, in the districts of our country, and if we can create opportunities for them, there is also going to be a demand for the products that you make. And so it's a virtuous cycle, if I can say. And that virtuous cycle, I guess the corporate sector, for their own self and for the prosperity of the nation, one can do a lot. It's just not. It's not only, so today if you see, India is doing well in terms of even being able to start a movement on skilling people. vocational training, so to say, which was quite absent till about some time back. So we are recognizing a lot of specialized vocational training. That leads to a pipeline of people in the corporate world, which will be the skills for tomorrow, so to say. And that really enables what? It gets people to get more livelihood, which gets people. So at the end of the day, there is something for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way I think the mindset needs to be looked at, been seen, and we need to develop that more and more within our corporate culture. And I feel that it is, that realization is something which will be very, very critical for it to be taken across the board of the corporate sector. So there's even smaller companies, larger companies. Many of them do for their small community. A small company does it for the surround where he is located, because then he gets good people to come in. And I think that's where I think again Team India, Team Bharat comes in.
Yeah, no, and what you're saying, right? Make people producers first, help them on a livelihood. They are your consumers. You know, it's a cycle, right? And if you can go down to the grassroots and you can go down to where Bharat is and all of that, that can. But technology is making that happen in a big way, right? Because whether it is, digital public infrastructure, whether it is technology and companies and innovation, is that playing a big role, CB, the way you're seeing it?
See, technology, yes, you mentioned, digital public infrastructure. But even if you really look at the power of technology today to reach the guy absolutely in the last village of India, that is where I think we will, I think India is one country where, this entire digital India, so to say, has touched everyone in the country. And that's something which perhaps we can strongly give to the world, and I would imagine, and I have seen also many developed nations also not been able to get it at a scale. So the opportunity of scale in India and for touching so many people, the entire global south, there's so much of learning for them to do from us. And so technology can be so much well leveraged for everyone, actually, not just those with power, but those with nothing actually, and they can come up. So I see that this is a great build-up. So the entire thing of Aadhaar, say for instance, that India could do to get data in place and to see to it that you get what if you are needy, you will get something into your bank. So that type of mechanism to have been, I'm putting it in simple language, but the reason I'm putting it in simple language because these are very complex things done very, very well. And I think India has delivered that. And I think that is what will play a huge role as we move forward towards Viksit Bharat. And it also is affected, say, for instance, many other countries who are, affected in the sense positively, other countries to think, and in Africa can get so much from us. And I think the way we transfer money from one phone to the other and the ease with which we do it, I don't think it's possible even in many countries of Europe, of the West of, the developed countries of Europe. So I think it's a great opportunity again for India, not only to grow in its own way, but actually to help the world acquire some of our knowledge, our modern knowledge, to grow and develop.
No, and this knowledge that this conversation that we're having is also leveraging digital strongly to reach, every stakeholder in India, around the world. It's accessible at the, touch of a button, and it's available when one wants. So technology has had very strong, successes. But, there's also automation, AI, digital consumption. It has had its impact on, I think human relationships. Well, I don't know. So every time there's a good technology, there is a lot of strength, but there are also some impact that could be negative. How do we eliminate the negative aspects, especially when it comes to, see, at the core, whatever we are discussing of this, of India and of the future will be its people. So keeping people in the right state using technology is important, right?
Maybe the minds of the people. Not just the skill of the people or the talent of the people or the education of the people, but the minds of the people. Because finally, who is the person? It's the mind. So, with all technology, what happens is we start connecting outside, right? So, suppose earlier I was living in my village, my connection was like 100 people. And my culture was also dependent only on these 100 people. So, my sanskar, my sanskriti, was only, I didn't know what was happening in New York because I was living in this village. So automatically my thought process in terms of sanskar, one is education and knowledge is different and wisdom is different. So education and knowledge, the more I connect, the more I get to learn and to receive. But when it comes to the innate thing, the more I connected outside, which was good, but I was not connecting within. So, I did not realize that I was losing out on my innate sanskars, my innate sanskriti, whether it is my sanskriti of my family, which means the culture of my family, the culture of my village, even the culture of my country, because I was suddenly global now. So, I was getting influenced by so many cultures, so many thought processes, nothing wrong about that. But sometimes it's like when a child goes to school, sometimes they get so influenced by friends and peer pressure that they shift from what sanskars they were taught at home. And then you say, now this child is not holding on to the values at the house. So that is one thing which happened with technology, is that we connected so much outside, but with that we forgot to connect within. We got influenced so much outside that with that we forgot what is my own innate strength and the strength which I've got from my sanskars here. We just need to have both. So while you're connecting to the world, don't forget to connect to yourself and don't forget to connect to your sanskar and your sanskriti of your family and the sanskriti of your country. Even today, if you see, every time on social media with this whole thing of writing an opinion every time, it's very sad when people keep writing, I want to leave India and go away. I mean, for one waterlogging, they will say, I want to leave India and go away. I mean, it's okay, it happens. We're not saying it's right for that to happen. But if something happens in your house, do you say, I will leave my house and go away? Everything is not perfect in your house. Will you keep saying, I will leave my house and go? One waterlogging in the city, people will say, I've decided to leave the country and go. So what is your feeling of belongingness? What is your feeling for the country? It's my house. I don't just leave it and say, oh, what a country am I living in? So this thought process, you need to know where you're living and what's the richness of where you're living and just little issues. The issue is not right. We need to work on that, is fine. But to write, I am going to leave this country, then 10 people below, he's taking the right decision, we shouldn't be living in this. That's a thought process which is not good for a collective energy. So what happens when we are connected? One person's thought process suddenly starts creating those thoughts in a lot of people, and you'll suddenly have 1,000 people say, yeah, even I think I should leave this country. For one thing, for one problem, for one road which is not right, you want to leave this country. So that's sometimes the risk of being connected too much outside, that you just shift from your own innate thought process of belonging.
And you said that also from a corporate perspective, that one bad apple, right? But there are so many positive things.
So much.
So for everything that is little negative, we need that much more positivity to keep sustaining this, right? Like they say, if it's dark, you need more lights, more lamps to light the future, right? I mean, and how do we get that going? Because ultimately human beings, people are also in companies. I'm sure, as CII, if you take the collective workforce of India, right, the CII member companies and the number of people they employ, it would be nearly 75-80% of India's livelihoods are generated, of the organized livelihoods are generated through one institution. How do we bring this thing of people doing the right thing from a larger perspective, into corporate life, into corporate culture? Because many times you've got the education, you've got the skill, and therefore you believe you have a fair right to comment on something, which is fair. But if it's taking away from a larger interest, is there something we can do, CV?
Yeah, I think, much has been done. Again, if I pick up from, from the corporate sector point of view, much has been done by corporate sector or could be done by corporate sector through codes and governance system of its own. rather than depending on the law. Say, for instance, when Sister Shivani was talking about, somebody comments, etc. Yeah, probably there has to be laws, rules related to the social media disciplines, etc., etc. There's a lot of debate, discussions on about it. But we also need to be self-disciplined. And corporate sectors could themselves have certain parameters to which what you could just giving a comment on something or commenting in a way which without much of depth and research is probably something one needs to be very careful about. So when we've talked about different types of codes within the corporate sectors, there have been many areas that we have worked upon. Even the way we treat our workers, so to say, the way the wages are paid to the workers, the type of well-being. These are more codes rather than rules. And we have seen whenever there are codes, codes have been easier because there's a lot of ownership to the code. So I think more self-governance by the corporate sector could be a very, very important key towards really navigating through the challenges that we see in this modern world. And it's not that these type of challenges have not come to our world
they've been
in
there
the past every time that there has been something or the other. But I think, again, we'll have to work together to understand there has to be a strong leadership from everywhere, including the corporate sector, to see to it that we make it, again, choose the ethical way of using technology and not devious ways of misusing technology.
No, and bringing mindfulness and all these practices more into the workplace, because I think it's the people and corporates can actually create zones where you can bring people back into the right state of mind. So sometimes it is a reaction and not a response, right? I mean, people are just being reactive, and what you said, one person does something and we see today, right? Even if you talk of social media's impact on, issues that matter to the country. One person's post and five, and then suddenly we've got a debate, right? And people are just reacting. Nobody is really thinking of pausing and responding, right? So how do we bring that into technology? That it's quite, I think it's a thinking.
But also I think corporates places it's a very powerful place from where it can start.
And people spend most of the time there.
Yeah, and how much population of the country is there.
Right.
So that's one place from where you can create a revolution in the country. Like you can create a movement. Yeah. So if it starts from there, you're just suddenly reaching how many million homes? So you're not reaching million people, you're reaching million homes. So you're reaching so many million children, because that's another segment which is so much affected right now when it comes to mental health. So because where to start, where to start that movement? Probably that's from where it plays a very important role. If we start within organizations, a 5 minutes meditation in the morning, we've been doing in a lot of organizations a 1 minute traffic control. So if the leader of the organization gets exposed to this concept and they see the benefit of it, so they will just have a powerful thought and given to the team on your intranet. And after every hour, there will be a 1 minute music. And so everybody knows that they have to stop. Whether they meditate or not doesn't matter, but they just have to pause what they are doing and take that 1 minute break. And we call it just a minute, or we call it traffic control. And those who want to do it, they can pray. They can just deep breathe, they can just repeat an affirmation, do whatever you like. But any of these methods is an energizing. So in 59 minutes of clutter and crisis, even if you take a 1 minute break and you strengthen yourself, at the end of the day, you've done it like at least 10 to 12 times, like from morning 7 to evening 7. It makes so much of a difference. It's like charging your phone every hour for 2 minutes, like that. Your phone would be charged at the end of the day. So when you reach home to your family, you're not reaching like this. Because that is what is impacting Bharat, the children. And why are the children getting affected? Because both parents are working in most homes now. So both are coming like this. So the last few decades, joint family system numbers have reduced. and both parents working has increased. Now that is what is affecting the children. So because both are earning well, so children are materialistically fine, education-wise comfortable, but both are coming home a little like this. And now with technology, when they are home also, they are not at home. So now that's making it tougher, that when they are home, they are not at home. They're still connected. So even if I take one call and that troubles my mind, I could be sitting next to the child, but I'm radiating such stressful energy because I just took that call and my mind is troubled. This is unseen parenting, which we can't make out. But then that's what's affecting the children. So they're saying like, why are children going through this anxiety and panic attack? What are you nourishing them with? You can't nourish them with money. Money will only give physical comforts. So both working, both reaching home, creating the next generation who's going to go into that organization. So if every corporate starts looking at like this, because a lot of people are saying now, okay, these younger people who are coming, some of them don't have that concentration, some of them don't have that discipline. But they are the children of your employees only. They are the children of your employees. So if you take care of your people today, give them that 1 minute, 2 minutes, nothing big, 2 minutes, take care of your mind, send them home at the right time. And most important, after that, don't connect to them. You will have very strong children coming to you only. It's coming back to you only. So it's our corporate responsibility. That's how we can take it.
I was in the US recently and there's this big discussion about mattering. Like children really saying, do I matter? Right? They ask the parents that, and parents are actually saying, how do we make our children feel that they matter? Right? But when you don't feel you matter, how can
Imagine
you
to
make
reach a
anybody
stage
else feel
that a children has to be made to feel that I matter.
So when you go home, completely done from a corporate long day, you're not able to give that energy to that children. That affects the next gen. But India's hope is our youth and our future. And I know, CB, you've been, particularly working strongly, to create opportunities for young people, to showcase that entrepreneurship. This message from you to young people, what is that opportunity of India? Of course, young people have to be, we have to ensure that they are, innately capable to be able to take on those opportunities. But what's your message to young people when you talk to them or you think of them?
I think young people as such is, well, if you really look at the entire bracket of young people, there are young people and young people and young people, different walks of life, there are different types of young people. But by and large, they believe in themselves towards contributing to the world, contributing to the country. I think sometimes that perspective, it's just that if they really think about how much they have been able to actually contribute, I would think that it's large. Sometimes they don't get to understand that they are actually also can contribute and probably have contributed enough to the society's well-being. And I think that is something which is very critical for them to realize.
And many of them are now becoming entrepreneurs, right?
Absolutely, they are. Leaders. And in that, I would think there are issues. They know they have a lot of knowledge. Those who are becoming entrepreneurs, they have a lot of willpower, I must say. But at the same time, if there has to be something. If you see wherever you are, each one of us, wherever we are, if you are in a comfort zone, you have to have that sense of gratitude. And I think that's what we should not lose out in terms of whatever be our age, youth especially, and even at our age and wherever. I think the sense of gratitude gives a lot of strength, is what I believe. And that gives a lot of strength because once you know that somebody up there has looked after us, or my ecosystem has looked after me, I'm not I am, but because what I am is somebody has created. I mean, the surrounding has created. We have given me that opportunity. My ecosystem has given me that opportunity. Yeah. I think that's something which youth would have also be quite important for us to actually help our youth recognize that. Not about yourself or anyone, but about whoever they feel that I think that would be very helpful even for an entrepreneur.
Yeah. No, and gratitude also is in a way appreciation, because you appreciate what you have, appreciate the opportunity, and through that you build your strength
It's also like giving a blessing, actually. Gratitude is also a blessing. No? You're sending a higher energy towards somebody when you're saying, like, I'm gratitude for this. So it's energizing for the self, towards whom you're creating it, and this towards the environment where you are. And the opposite of that is discontentment. So you may have everything but not be contented. So you will have everything but your vibrations will not be energized because you're not creating gratitude for what you have. You're still saying there's lack. I could have got this, I could have got more, every day there will be something which is not perfect around you, but there is 99% of the things are perfect around you. But it all depends where I'm looking at. But where I look at is the energy that I will create, I will experience, and I will also radiate around. So everybody can start their morning with gratitude and end the day with gratitude. And in between, gratitude will be where you will operate from because that's where you started and ended the day. So gratitude is a higher vibrational energy. So all simple tools which are going to energize the mind. Most important gratitude have for your workplace. It's very important to have gratitude for all the employees. Important to have gratitude for your workplace, for your leader, for the team you work with. It's easy to find faults. But if you create gratitude, you're going to enjoy your workplace. You're going to radiate that energy at the workplace. And then the money you earn will come with that energy of gratitude home. And then it will strengthen your children. It's all a cycle of energy, actually. This is this invisible thing, so nobody... But always say my work is the cause of my stress, my leader is like this, my people are like that. There's always something to complain on. But then you start operating at that vibration of complaining. So that's discontentment. So you will be in that organization, let's say 8 to 10 hours in the day, but at a lower energy. Always think, if I could get one opportunity, I will leave from here and go somewhere else. So you're already operating at a lower energy. You're radiating that around you. It's only first affecting you, but you're still getting the money from there. So then that money also goes with discontentment home. You reach home in the evening also in that very complaining zone. So your whole energy system is affected. So even if everything is wrong, gratitude. Even if everything, which will never happen with anybody, even if everything is wrong, you will be right here if you create gratitude, and automatically things will start changing. So it's a very powerful tool.
Is non-judgment, acceptance, they all help you have greater gratitude also, right?
See, what people don't understand the word acceptance. They think acceptance means, okay, jaisa hai, waisa rehne do. No, it's not that. Acceptance means don't trouble yourself here and now do what has to be done for there. But if you keep criticizing here, being judgmental here, creating wrong thoughts here, they will think that it's a right thought, but it's a negative thought. No, it's a lower energy thought. It depletes you, and then you don't have the strength to do something proactive to where it needs to be done. So a lot of people are only doing it here, not doing anything where it's actually needed. But acceptance only means, yes, this is what it is right now, full stop. Now what do we have to do for it?
Yeah.
So silent the mind and do what is needed. And that is not only just for things, it's for people. For people. If you are critical and judgmental about people, it could be your spouse, it could be your child, not even work people. You are vibrating at a lower energy because you seem to be looking at something which is not perfect in the other person and just singing that song inside.
Yeah.
So you're radiating that energy around you. Let us say I accept this particular nature of this person and now I start working with them, I start adapting to them. Your acceptance becomes power for the other person because acceptance is respect, that I accept you as you are. It becomes respect. And my critical judgmental thinking is rejection for the other person. So it first affects me, then it affects the others, and then it just affects the system of energy.
And the entire company or the country
so
eventually.
So acceptance is power actually. People take it in another way. Oh, accept means chalo, jaisa hai rehne do. Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
It just means strengthen your mind, respect the person, respect the organization, respect the country, and now work towards it.
No, and I think, some of these personal habits, and if we follow, help productivity. I'm sure it helps efficiency, it helps teams work and perform better. So, different ways for us to achieve competitiveness, as India and as a workforce, I think comes from a lot of these simple things that individuals, can do, right, at different points in time. I mean, I keep coming back to this, like how do we percolate this, larger into our
As I
corporate
was
circles?
just listening to her, I was thinking, this is the problem, fine.
Yeah.
But we move ahead, so you're finding a solution. That's the business.
Right.
So when you try to find solution, that's your business.
Yeah.
That's where you will find opportunities for, crude language, make money.
Yeah.
So if you're in the business of finding a solution to a problem that you have, that's your that's your entrepreneurial ability.
Yeah.
So yes, there will be problems, there will be issues. So how do we sort that out?
Yeah.
So that's the business opportunity, and look at it as an opportunity for you to sort of be an entrepreneur out of it, be it in your business or be it in your company which you service. So I think that's the type of mindset that really can be really brought in and understood by large number of our people, which can help people get out into this negative spiral, and rather using that to find opportunities to probably be this is a very powerful message that can go across not just only the corporate sector, I would imagine, even in other walks of life, even to a farmer or to his. It's something that we need to socialize very strongly.
No, and that's the optimist in you speaking, right? Your positivity and finding, and I think this is the entrepreneurial thing, right? In every problem, find the solution, look for that challenge, build energy towards the positive outcome of that solution. I think it's a big concept of entrepreneurship. It might fail like what you said, but you will find another pivot, you will move along. So I think huge hope for young people to identify, find problems and continue to, take that forward. We can keep going on and on, but, CB, we have a short segment where, we call it a mindful minute, where I will throw a few questions at you and maybe if you can give some crisp answers to some of those questions, because these are the questions that I think, will help get perspective, your perspective for everyone, in India and of course around, to the world. So if you permit me, may I start that a little few questions. I'll keep it brief, But I think these things bring out core aspects that we want to probably, think of. So one thing that India does better than the world.
I think we discussed that, Rajan, and I think that's how we have leveraged technology to reach out to a common man and to see to it that their lives are positively affected. I think that's a big achievement of India.
Wonderful. A policy change you'd love to see in India?
Policy change, if I have to give a one-word answer, tough one is trust, build trust. So policies should be trusting and not trying to make you prove you're innocent, otherwise you are guilty. I think that's the type of stuff that one would say decriminalization, one nation, one type of compliance or issues. So those type of policy reforms could be phenomenal in terms of encouraging entrepreneurship, livelihood.
That's a wonderful thought, and I'm actually going to deviate from a mindful minute and ask you one question on the mindful minute. How do you build trust?
First, have faith in yourself. If I don't have faith in myself, I fear to trust people. I fear to trust anything new. I fear to trust change. But if I connect with that's why that mindfulness is very important on a daily basis, that meditation is very important. If I have faith and trust and I'm innately strong, then I don't fear to trust because I don't fear to fail also. I don't fear to fail because I'm strong here, I won't fear to fail outside. So those 5 minutes, if we take out for ourselves, there's so many benefits that when you see the benefit, you realize, oh, this is coming out of that 5 minutes that I took out for myself.
Wonderful. Trust yourself before you naturally trust others. A business trend India must adopt quickly.
We have to set trends is what I believe, and one of the trends that we can set really for the world is that you can grow with a heart. You can grow your business, but still have a heart. It's not. Sometimes businesses have seen, businessmen have been seen with a lot of suspect by the civil society or by anyone. So I think that's again, not just only building trust, which is very important, but for them to really ride this momentum and create a situation where businesses would be seen as really creating livelihood, businesses creating wealth for the nation, businesses leveraging technology for good, so to say. I think these are and Indian values again. I would really bring it into the business. All of this is something which is complex, but I would believe that Indian businesses can show the world that we are competitive through these means.
One major reform that could boost India's economy overnight.
I think it's just getting today. The next story of India is in the states of India. I think India is so complex. The states of India would also have to be. So certain things need to be the factor market reforms, so to say. We had a phenomenal reforms in the taxation area through GST, but there are other areas where we land, etc. So those factor market reforms, I would think, are going to be that critical reform that you talked about.
Yeah. One leader from history you would love to have a conversation with.
One leader or a business leader?
Business leader. I kept it open. Okay, we can say business leader and leader. Maybe two people you would love to have a conversation.
No, I think there are so many phenomenal examples in the world and in India. Very difficult to choose one, but yeah, of course, one would really like to deep delve into a person like, let me stick to business. I've seen him, but I've never been able to interact with him. Mr. J.R.D. Tata, say for instance, has been an iconic name for anybody and everybody, and such a businessman with such a heart, with such philanthropic values, but at the same time, there were many who came after him, but he was the example. He was a trendsetter. But that's something one would really like to delve into. And from the greater canvas, of course, being an Indian, one would like to really think about, talking once to Gandhi. And I've never done to Mahatma Gandhi. So, for instance, he's of course. So that's the two quick names that come extempore.
We can have a separate episode to discuss what could those questions and what could those conversations be like.
But that could be an extempore of the cuff sort of a response.
No, but I think the names you took is probably what so many people would love to go deeper. And there's a reason, right? Because I think they've lived lives, or at least what we've heard, there is enough to understand and take away. And I think sometimes when we talk of leaders and business leaders, you want to leave a legacy, as everyone says, around the work you have achieved in this human life. So, so the last question, CV, is, what do you consider your strength as a leader? Since we're talking of leadership, what is your strength if you were to?
I don't know whether I'm a leader. Number one, I don't think so, sincerely speaking. But yes, one is as good as his people. I mean, the people around you. I strongly believe in it, and I do believe if you are good, you are doing any good, it's all because of the people around you. I mean, and somebody has to be the face probably of many things that are going around. Second, I do believe one has. I mean, when you say leader, and I truly feel whoever that is must have. I understand targets, etc., but I think what's most important is the heart. If the heart stops beating, you're gone. So you need to have a heart. You have to have a heart. However strong a leader you are, however great a leader you are in many ways, you have to have a heart to understand your people. And I think that prism is extreme. Seeing people, seeing institution is extremely critical for any leader. A heart to look after the people in your company or your institution.
So what do you say? Clear thinking head, clean working hands, warm caring heart is that Indian leader, and I think that embodies you. But last word, Sister Shivani, on one word for CB, what is his strength as you see it?
Humility. Humility. And that humility is bringing simplicity, and that's the heart. That's why he's able to talk about that heart, because it's operating from the heart more than the head. See, in business you operate from the head, but with people you operate with the heart. But if you start using only the head everywhere and not the warmth that you have, the empathy and the compassion you have, then the vibration and the energy will not create that culture. So that's his thing, to operate from the heart.
Thank you. So for a real true India, we need many more CBs, we need many more people with a warm heart.
Absolutely.
And really, I think we can change this country. Thank you. Thank you, CB, for such a wonderful conversation. Thank you, Sister Shivani, for this lovely conversation.
Thank you.
Shukriya.
You too can start or enhance your mindfulness journey using the Think Right app on iOS and Android store. It's got a huge number of daily affirmations, daily journeys, daily meditations that will enable us to hold your hand as you move in this transformative journey of life.